Hello, everyone. U.S. Congressman says Trump administration will closely monitor Nigeria's 2027 election. Beyond the election, the U.S. lawmaker disclosed that the Congress is advancing legislation containing provisions that could significantly shape future relations between Washington and Abuja. A member of the United States Congress, Riley Moore, has said the US government will closely monitor Nigeria's 2027 general election, stressing that both he and the administration of President Donald Trump will pay very close attention to how the polls are conducted. Moore made the remarks in an interview now circulating online, where he addressed questions on Nigeria's democratic process, concerns over corruption, and the role of the United States in supporting credible elections in Africa's most populous nation. For me, one of the things that I've since talked about in different fora is the fact that you know there has to be a universally accepted definition of what free, fair, credible election is. Because what we have is that we have different standards for different regions. Some places, people are killed, and then they sort of like make it, oh, that's okay. It shouldn't be okay. I remember being very angry at a former British High Commissioner. Can't remember what that her name is, during the 2023 election, where she comes to talk about that the election, praising the whole election in which many people were killed, election in which there was so much violence meted on people, election in which there was such blatant rigging. And I put out, I did a video on that whole high commission and how unacceptable that was. And for me, I remember in that video saying things like, in the UK, they have election, nobody loses their life. That's a free, fair, credible election. Why then is an election in Nigeria where people are losing their lives, where uh, elections are being rigged? You're coming out to tell us that, oh, it's a very good kind of election. Because of what? Are you being paid for it? Is there something that we need to know? Even the international observers that we have, because I think it was after, during this former CBN's corruption case that has been going on, there were some parts where they said they had how many $1 million that were for payment for international observers. I was like, what are you paying international observers for? Is it for them to come and give you credible result, credible outcome, credible report? Because there's no how that someone is going to pay you for something and then it just goes like that. There's no possibility there. In anything that somebody is paying for, then that person will dictate whatever it is that is being said within that whole context. Let me go back to the article. It says his comments come amid growing political activities ahead of Nigeria's 2027 elections, with opposition parties intensifying efforts to challenge the ruling administration, while civil society groups continue to express concerns over electoral integrity and governance. Asked whether the United States could do more to support free and fair elections in Nigeria beyond existing diplomatic engagement, Moore said Washington would be carefully watching the conduct and outcome of the polls. And I know a lot of Nigerians are usually very excited. They feel that, oh, UK. The thing is that most of these people, US, whatever, most of these people at the end of the day, they will do what is best for them. Recently, Tinubu went to the UK and signed some steel contracts that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense for the benefit of Nigeria. But it made sense to Tinubu that is desperate for legitimacy. For the fact that they invited him to Buckingham Palace, it's enough for him to even sell every one of us. So if they had even asked for more for him to sell every one of us, he will. And these are decisions. So, in terms of the election that are coming on, there's no way you will not expect that UK is going to be supportive of whatever Tinubu is doing. Not because they feel that Tinubu is doing the right thing, but because Tinubu favors them. Who else is going to enter into some contracts that really don't make sense in the absolute way that it is. There are still market in the UK. There are still industry is going moribund. And of course, they've gotten a country where they can dump how many so much contract and be able to have something. So they're going to support it no matter what, however it is. I know a lot of us. So it's the same all around. At the end of the day, for me, it's really that look, nobody is going to save us. We are the ones that are going to save ourselves. We need to stand up and do that very well. We are certainly going to be watching these results and how these elections unfold, how they are executed. That's something that myself and the administration are going to be paying very close attention to. Beyond the elections, the US lawmaker disclosed that Congress is advancing legislation containing provisions that could significantly change future relations between Washington and Abuja. According to him, although he is co-sponsoring a separate bill introduced by fellow Congressman Chris Smith, greater attention should be focused on the U.S. appropriations legislation covering foreign operations, national security, and state departmental programs. Moore said he personally inserted provisions relating to Nigeria into the bill, particularly on the persecution of Christians and conditions tied to future U.S. security assistance. Persecution. But the other day, by the time Tinubu paid lobbyists, and they went all over. You saw the other time where Trump was praising Remy Tinubu, and Remy Tinubu going all over to be talking about or saying all manner of things. Trump is Trump. Trump will look for whoever it is. Money for hand, back for ground. That's Trump's mentality anytime, any day. That one no send anybody. But then, who knows? Maybe there's something out there that can happen that will surprise all of us. There's a lot of language that I put in that bill that relates to Nigeria, the persecution of Christians and restrictions of security assistance to the government of Nigeria and steps that they have to take, he said. He expressed optimism that legislation would become law, describing its provision as strong and aggressive. That bill is likely to become law. We are about to hopefully pass that here today. So there's some pretty strong and aggressive language in that bill that's going to be binding as it relates to our relationship with Nigeria moving forward. More further disclosed that he has continued discussion with the administration of President Donald Trump, issuing concerns on issues concerning Nigeria, and the US president shares similar concern. I continue to work with the administration on next step that we are going to take. He said, I'm actually going to see President Trump tonight, and I'll be having dinner with him and some other members. I continue to talk to him about issues, and it's very important to him. Let's continue to watch and see how all of this turn out.